Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, my friends. We are from Group 2. We presented our final project presentation. They are the factor of affecting green consumer behavior, evidence from Malang, East Java, Indonesia. Next. Table of contents are abstract, introduction, literature review, methodology, result, conclusion, suggestion, weaknesses, strength, and further research. Next. Maybe you can present your part.
Okay, the first part is abstract. Green customer recognize the importance of buying food that uses environmentally friendly packaging. Food products with green packaging are sold more expensive, so that consumer willingness to pay is needed. Methodology: the study conducted in Malang with sample from the academic community at UMM as well as urban communities in Malang City and rural communities in Malang Regency. And primary data was obtained by interview and questionnaire filling. Data analysis used the structural equation model, which was supported with Workflow PLS software. And next part is introduction. Plastic is a material that is difficult to decompose in nature, so it pollutes the environment that threatens environmental sustainability in general, and in particular, the preservation of agricultural land. And nowadays, most people use plastic for their food and beverage, and it makes the environment a little bit polluted, and over time it will be damaged. The customer awareness on the environment is also important for companies to design products and marketing strategies to take customer safety and loyalty in the long term.
Next is literature review. In literature studies, there is research on consumer are pro-environment been widely conducted about the result. So the behavior purchasing environment friendly beverage and deep soul decision are ready to environment friendly attitude. Analyze the effect of the purchasing situation on the behavior of pro-environmental consumer and conduct a product purchasement. Results show the functional value were always important, but functionally values alone were not enough to predict pro-environment behavior. The equation of the study focus on purchasing behavior that are pro-environment, but what disgusting is this formulation of the model and its analysis. The topic of research on pro-environment consumer is in Indonesian still limited. Consumer behavior to environment on campus. Next.
So the next is methodology. For the object of research is conduct in the city and regency of Malang, focusing on the city fast academic of UMM, and then the data primary used to method. First is interview, and the second is questionnaire with 152 respondents, and then hypotheses were proposed for the second purpose formulate as follow with two factor. The first is the factor of WTP, demography, psychography, and religiosity affect the pro-environmental purchasing behavior of the packaged food, and the second is the pro-environmental disposal behavior of food packaging. Next. So the data analysis use same method. WTP, the first figure is the same model for the pro-environmental consumer behavior, and The second figure is about variable and indicator for same method. Next.
Okay, there is a table about the result of this journal. Table 2 is sample characteristic. Respondents are distributed based on gender, age, and education. Dominant number of respondents are female gender, which means the age is 21 until 30 years old, and then the education is high school. And then for the table 3, there are the score of green buying indicator. The consumer who consistently buy food with environmentally friendly packaging are only 8.6%. The highest number is 55.9% is consumer who already have a commitment to buy environmentally packaging but have not been able to do consistently. The reason is because limited availability in the market. And then table 4 is the score of disposal behavior. The disposal behavior that is good enough is the separating organic and non-organic waste with average score is 4.08 and its distribution is 33.6% of consumer who always sort waste and 51.3% consumer who are not consistent in separating waste. Next. And then there are table 5 model fit equality in the indices. The table shows all test criteria meet the suitability of the same model. Some test criteria even meet the ideal criteria. And then the same model and the result of path conversion between latent variables, the influence of each psychographic variables on green buying behavior has a rate error level in 6.8%. And then the variable three latent, namely VTP, demographic, and religiosity, affect the green buying behavior with 5% error. And the psychographic variable also affect green buying behavior even with a lower level of significance, 6.8%. And then table 3, the effect of the VTP on green buying behavior has a path of coefficient of 0.153 and the P is 0.025, so hypothesis is accepted, and then the rest of the hypothesis is accepted too. But I think the religiosity has a greater path coefficient than psychography. It means the religiosity has high relevance on pro-environmental disposal behavior rather than psychography, because religious organizations are also important parties in preserving the environment. The contents of religious lectures that strengthen effort to protect the environment are supported by the arguments contained in religious teaching. Next.
Next is conclusion. Customers have not been able to avoid buying food in plastic packaging because the majority of food sold in the market still uses plastic packaging in their products. The environmental issues and the concept of going green have influenced by the customer attitude and behavior, especially those who already have environmental awareness. Consumers who have middle to upper purchasing power have a willingness to pay or VTP more expensive food product that he use environmentally friendly packaging. Recommendation for environmental stakeholder needs to educate people to not only on green disposal behavior but also on green purchasing behavior.
So the next is future research, and the future research on the factory affection green consumer behavior will be very helpful for the period to come. This is because the result of this study have provided suggestion and limitation to develop solution in the future. Now can be known the behavior of the public or consumer in Malang about green consumer. So in the future research can be more specific to process and sort the next plastic waste in recycle so that there is no build up. Next. So the next is weakness and strength. The first one is weakness. The weakness in this case has not been found an efficient solution and the need for future research. The second one is in this case was conducted in Malang, thus limiting the generation of research. The third one in this case did not test the relationship between variable in other city to improve the generation of the finding. And the strength of the journal is the first journal provide advice for the future research. Second one is there is a table that make easy for reader to understand the decision of problem in the journal. The third one is the discussion of the theory is very clear. Next.
So we are going to our next journal. There are customer perception of e-service quality and empirical study in Indonesia. Next.
First part is abstract. E-service quality has received attention from customer perception, especially online shopping customer in the context of online shopping. E-service quality is believed to make an enormous contribution to customer perception. A total of 278 respondents from South Sulawesi, North Sulawesi, Maluku, North Maluku, and Papua were involved and selected by purposive sampling method. The validity was tested using factor analysis with a loading factor value of more than 0, and the reliability was tested a Cronbach's alpha value more than 0.6, and hypotheses were tested by regression analysis. The results show that service quality include web design, responsiveness, reliability, trust, and personalization has positive effect on customer. And next is introduction. The internet has become part of the lifestyle of the people in the world, and Indonesia becomes the second highest internet user country in the Asia Pacific region for online shopping. Customer perception of the service they receive are influenced by several components and determined based on their experience. However, the challenge to determine the effect of e-service quality on customer perception in the context of online shopping is the novelty of this study. Most studies discuss about customer perception based on the e-service quality variable rather than each variable of customer perception. And e-service quality separately, this research was conducted with online shoppers of Shopee and Tokopedia in Indonesia spread over the areas of South Sulawesi, North Sulawesi, Maluku, North Maluku, and Papua. This research break the academic grounds in this field.
The next is a literature review. The first is web design. A website is designed and processed with a more effective approach used in a limited manner and developed based on customer perception. Customer perception of the website changes when the information they are looking for is not available and they will move to other website providing the information they need. The second one is receptiveness. Receptiveness refer to the speed and accuracy of responding to consumer requests and transaction. Customer expect online shopping partners to respond their complaint promptly, as quick response help customers solve their problem and make decision in a timely manner. A quick response to consumer demand is likely to increase precision, comfort, and reduce uncertainty and high responsive and form positive consumer perception. The third one is reliability. Reliability is a major factor that motivates consumer to purchase. This certainly has an impact on consumer perception of being comfortable when shopping. Therefore, one aspect of the internet as a shopping platform is the reliability system that garners future examination of its convenience. Next. The next one is trust. Trust in online shopping must be able to maintain the confidence of consumer data, not occur fraud related to financial transaction, must be able to protect online financial transaction, have a relative low risk, be able to carry out obligation as an online shopping party, be highly competent in the field of e-commerce and have a good reputation. It also has an important impact on the decision to return to shopping in the future. Connected, that trust has an effect on consumer perception in the context of online payment system. Next is personalization. Personalization generates greater attention to offering by creating self-association, providing a good match with customer preference, and occurring increased elaboration of relevant information. These efforts are more likely to success in positive influencing purchasing decision by creating joy, gratitude, or customer satisfaction. Next.
So the next is methodology for the research. Object for the research is the population of this study is online shopper of Shopee and Tokopedia, and the sample was taken by perceived probability sampling method fulfilling the criterion of having made an online purchase from Shopee and or Tokopedia. For data primary in this research, the questionnaire were distributed in May until June 2019 with a total sample of 278 respondents from South Sulawesi, North Sulawesi, Maluku, North Maluku, and Papua. So for the variable in this research, we with five variable. The first is website design, and then the second is reliability, and then the third is responsiveness, and then the fourth is trust, and the last is personalization. That five variable was the customer perception. Next. And then this is the research model who's connect with customer perception. Next.
So the result is we see the table one. The table one shows the profile of the respondent by their gender, age, shopping frequency, occupation, purchase item price, and provinces. In general, the majority of the respondents were women aged 15 until 24 years old, with a shopping frequency of 3 times. Most of them are students purchasing products less than 1 million rupiah worth, and they come from the 5 provinces, namely South Sulawesi, North Sulawesi, Maluku, North Maluku, and Papua. And then the second table, we can see the result of testing validity and reliability among the variables studied. Website design, responsiveness, trust, personalization, and customer perception are all showed a loading factor of value of uh, uh, less than 0.5, and then all the variables were regular valid, and then the correspondence alpha have a value less than 0.6, all the variables were declared variable. Next. And then we see the table 3. The table 3 indicates the majority of respondents agreed that the website design must be visually attractive with a well-organized appearance and quick and easy transaction completion. Furthermore, regarding the trust variable, the respondents agreed that the value of privacy protection, trustworthiness, transaction protection, low risk, proper obligation fulfillment, and e-commerce competency and a good reputation also highlights that the respondents perceive online progressing method is better than and more efficient. And then the table for the hypothesis testing. The hypothesis testing show the research design has a positive effect on customer perception, and then the responsiveness has a positive effect on the customer perception, reliability has a positive effect on the customer perception, trust has a positive effect on a customer perception, and then a personalization has a positive effect on a customer perception. Because all of this variable was valid, and I think this variable is have a have a connect with the customer perception. And then the hypothesis testing also suggests that reliability has a positive effect on a customer perception. Also, the hypothesis testing signifies that trust has a positive effect on a customer perception. Subsequently, personalization has a positive effect on a customer perception. Next.
Next is conclusion. The research underlines the women dominate shopping more than men, and that online shopping is dominated by Generation Z. In addition, the research provides the new evidence that earnings do not determine how much online purchases consumers will make, as our respondents are students who are active purchasers. The challenge for future research will be to add other variables, both antecedents like customer knowledge, experiences, and perceived usefulness, and consequences like, like e-commerce satisfaction and purchase intention.
So the next one is future research. In the future research on consumer perception of e-service quality in Indonesia can help for the future period, especially for the community or parties who want to build an online shop, business, or agency who want to develop or make e-commerce. Next. So this is the weakness and the strength. The first one is the weakness. In this journal, just have one weakness because the journal is almost perfect. The first is journal does not include previous research as a basis for the journal. The strength is the first one. There is a table that make it easy for reader to understand the decision of problem in the journal. The decision of the theory is clear. The third is journal use simple language so that it's easy for reader to understand. The last one is journal provide advice for the future research. Next. Thank you for listening from group 2. That's all from group 2. Thank and bye-bye.